Yeah. So still this.
But it's new.
Yeah, everything is new, yeah. Everything is always new. Because it's there and it's not there. It is and it isn't. Nothing is everything, everything is nothing. Just energy appearing as whatever. So it's not, it doesn't feel new when you feel like you, because there's that causal linear apparent reality in which things are happening in time then. And there's a sense of repetition, you know, and a sense of knowing from your sense of separateness, and then a sense of staleness, kind of.
And memory too, right? It sort of
Yeah.
makes you feel like, oh, I remember this. I remember
Yeah. Memory. This happened to me last week. I know this, or this is my route to work.
Yeah.
So I've done it.
Yeah.
How many times? I don't even know anymore. I've done it 3,000 times. So I know this route to work. So it's just just me, I know it. That's the thing. You know it, so it's not new then. So there's a lived sense of, it really feels like this sense of repetition in that sense of knowing, and things aren't seen as they actually are. Well, there are no things. So the newness can't be seen. It's impossible. It can't be seen. When you feel like an individual, the newness, it's impossible. Because you're seeing something, you're looking at something, you are having experiences, and they're repeating, and blah blah blah. It's unknowable. It's like this is this will never be like this again. Just sitting here in this room with the way the sun is, and the way a thought arises and a sensation in the body. It's never be like this again. Nothing ever is again. But then, as if you feel like an individual, you're like, oh yeah, I was in this room last December. I know what it's like. Or for Ali and Dahlia, they live here. Or maybe if they had that sense, it's like, well, I know it. You know your house, you know your thing, and it's that knowing.
This morning I kept hearing you in my head saying, you don't have a life. Oh, sorry.
Oh, the mic, yeah.
I'm not saying anything.
You're on the ball. I definitely. I just don't think I can afford you.
Depends if Linda comes through. Actually, I was thinking, I don't know who said it, it doesn't matter, but they were saying this is also like, it's just creativity and intelligence, all of this, which, does that resonate with what you're saying? Or all of this is just intelligence and creativity at every moment. It's like being created.
I'm not really sure what that means. Like, it's aliveness is bursting with potential and creativity, and it's just completely explosive. So when there can be an explosive creativity on the loss of the feeling like you are you, it's not uncommon at all. And be that in whatever way that is. It doesn't have to be painting, oil paintings, creativity in the work you're apparently doing, or some just this, because you're not. It's the sense, you see, that you're there and you're doing everything is a filter, and hampers and judges, is kind of constant critic, on your shoulder. Oh, that's no good, and this isn't good enough, and that's shit, and why did you do that, and why did you say that? What do you think that person thinks of you now because you've done that? And blah, 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 constantly. And that's the sense of being an individual. So when that sense of being an individual isn't there, it can be explosive creativity, because nobody's there to hinder anything. But to say, I mean, like I can't say anything about, like we're talking all, we spoke about this all day yesterday, well, you know, the all afternoon, and all we'll speak about it today, and I can't say it. You can't say it. You know, it's not like when we start to say this is whatever, it's not anything. And I say energy, aliveness, wholeness, oneness, unconditional love, all of these things. These are just words also for to illuminate the indescribable and unknowable, which is, I can't, once you start, you can't know it, you can't describe it, and you can't lose it. It can't be lost or escaped from, because it's actually all there is. It's so simple. That's all that's simple. It's just a sharing of that. We're just just we're apparently all sitting in the room, and it could be obvious there's no room really. There's no you sitting in a room. There's aliveness rooming, and aliveness bodying, and just aliveness. You know. So, you know, saying, and I'm not saying that's wrong or anything. There's nothing wrong with, oh, this is intelligence or this is creativity. Yeah, fine, whatever. I know. Like I'm not going around correcting people. Oh, that's wrong. That's not non-dual enough. You know what I mean? It's like what's non-duality? I don't know. There's no such thing as non-duality. There's just, it's very simple. There's whatever is appearing to happen. Boundless creativity appears to happen, and a stunted creativity appears to happen. No creativity, nothing.
Yeah.
Aliveness wants to do that, then aliveness wants to sit there and look at a blank canvas and go, nothing coming out, and that's what's happening. That's what's appearing to happen, you know. But there's the individual, the apparent individual is this continual kind of sensor, like narrating itself and berating itself also, mostly. Huge sense of unworthiness in it. Because, and the sense of unworthiness, shame, guilt, all of this, it's all stems from a sense of being separate, being this entity that's lost everything. What did I deserve? What did I do to deserve to be kicked out of everything? Why? Why is there me and the world out there? Why? That's the question. We wouldn't formulate the question like that. Oh, here's God, always late. She's trying to come into my meetings lately and trying to get some new ideas, freshen things up a bit. You know.
I'm just wondering, I guess there's no why to any of this, but I believe you, or I feel that that's true, that everything is unconditional love, but it's curious that even though it's contracted, why would it be so harsh, or you know, why do people feel tortured?
Because it's unlimited, boundless, it can be anything. So limited freedom, absolute freedom appears to be not free, because that's how it's absolute freedom. If it couldn't appear to not be free, then it wouldn't be boundless absolute freedom. So in the same way.
Like anything's possible.
Yeah. So when I say unconditional, when I say the word love, you see, people think in terms of interpersonal nurturing of another, nurturing of your children, nurturing of your partners, caring for animals, loving love that you put into things you like doing. That's what they think of.
Warm fuzzies.
Yeah, that's not what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's just it's energy. That's also it, because everything is it.
Yeah.
But when the term unconditional love is all embracing of everything, and it's not in that positive negative dichotomy, that collapses in it.
Like the space
There's
in this
just
room.
aliveness. Yeah. So unconditional love is just energy appearing as whatever appears. Even the worst, horrendous, most painful thing that appears to happen it is actually that appearing as that, and that's totally beyond the mind now. That's totally beyond, because the mind can only go so far with that, because the mind is the apparent individual is this dualistic play of right and wrong. So it's not knowable or understandable. Yeah, it's just energy, just aliveness. so simple. It's just the sound of the airplane there. And it's simply that there's no you that's hearing the sound of the airplane. But there may now be a sense of there could be bodies in this room that will really feel that they're heard the sound of that airplane and that they hear the sound of this voice. Maybe. And that could, it's possible that that just can, it's like, it's an energetic thing. It's possible that it can just unravel. But it would, then it would be seen, it only appeared to unravel because it wasn't actually real. And there's just what's appearing to happen then. There's no you that it's happening to. You know. And you can't, like, this sharing is it's not about believing somebody. There's nobody to believe. There's no authority. So you're not. It's a completely different thing. So you're shifting out of thinking, oh, what this person is saying is true. It's not true, because it's only true. It can only be true or not true in the story. Yeah. So that's what makes this sharing, this whole few hours, totally different. Or one of the things that makes it totally different is who am I asking to believe anything? Like, who am I asking to say what I'm saying is true? I'm not, like, who would I be speaking to? And what would that truth mean? That would have to be a concept then. And then what you would have then is somebody who believes something then. What's that? What difference does that make? So it's the one communication that you hear when it's shared like this from any kind of speaker, that's where it's uncompromising, where you're not being spoken to. You're not being asked to believe anything. Nothing. There's nothing on offer at all. No concepts. I don't care. It's the same if someone says, it's not true what you're saying, it's a bunch of bullshit. And the next person said, I believe you know it's true. Same thing. It's not true or not true. It's just what, it's just,
it doesn't feel any different for you.
It's not. Well, it's not a concept. You see, I don't believe in anything, because if I believed in something, then Kenneth then would be a character who believes in a thing called non-duality, and I'd be in some sort of concept then, and I'd be talking. I'd be a non-dual teacher then, and I'd be talking about non-dual states, and some such other bullshit. And people would be lapping it up. They'd fucking love that shit. A non-dual state. Kenneth's in a non-dual state. I'm going to be in a non-dual state. I was in a non-dual state this morning for 10 minutes. It was fucking amazing. And then I thought about sex and I slipped out of it. Dirty little mind of mine. I'm back here again and I'm separate. Or whatever bullshit's going on, you know what I mean? That's the same we heard with the living in the moment. I was in the moment and then I started thinking about, whatever. And I just slipped out of the moment. So what I do is I remind myself, I bring myself back to my breathing and to the moment. And then the more I'm in the moment, the more fully alive I am. Blah, 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 blah. Bunch of fucking bullshit. But they believe it then, and they experientially feel that it's true. So then they to hear from other people who reinforce it. And then you hear, oh, this guy's always in the moment. Never slips out of it. Unlike you, I can see you're slipping, constantly slipping. Where are you going?
Like 1987.
Yeah,
July.
you're gone somewhere else, man. Me, I'm in the moment. And that also goes out of fashion too, you see, because everything comes in and it's fashionable for a while.
Yeah.
And then it's the next bullshit that comes along. So that's, you're still in that. I see you're still in the, you're stuck in the old Eckhart Tolle Power Now stuff. Yeah, I read that 20 years ago. You're still into that. Oh, that's nice for you.
Now
That's
being aware of being aware.
Yeah. Oh, that's so nice for you. I'm almost envious of your journey, because I remember 20 years ago, it felt so nice. It's so good for you. It's so nice. Come back to me in a few years when then we'll talk about being aware of being aware, or the fact that your dopamine addiction is really what's fueled, blah, 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 blah. Fucking hell. Just more nonsense. More stories. Biohacking is that, whatever it doesn't matter. It's always something new, new. And it's not wrong. There's nothing wrong with it. It's not, it's just what's bound to happen. So if it appeals to you, it just appeals to you, and it's the same as something else appealing to someone in some other realm, and they whatever. You can't go wrong or right with anything.
Yeah. The whole life there was or is a feeling of lack.
Yeah.
Even I was a child.
Yeah.
A feeling of lack. I am at the wrong place.
Yeah.
So sometimes I thought I am born in the wrong country.
Yeah. Yeah.
So and really and the whole life there was a rejection of everything.
Yeah.
I can't say about everything.
Yeah.
Is it because this feeling to be the center is not a person? Is this the reason why there is the feeling of lack? Or
Yeah, the feeling of the suggestion being made, and just to be clear, there's no authority on what's going on there, right? So whatever's going on there is whatever's going on there. There's no authority that can come along and say, "Oh, I can tell you what's happening with your life and all of that." That's a whole nother nonsense. There is no authority, right? But the suggestion, it's a very simple suggestion, is that sense of lack and unworthiness and all of that. Very, very simple. It's from the sense of you. When I say you, I mean the lived sense that you are an individual who has a life. So once you feel like you have a life, you're an individual, then everything, wholeness has been lost. Everything has been lost because there's little you and there's this world out there. And for some, there's a sensitivity to that. For some, there's very little sensitivity to that, and they're happy out. They really feel they're living their lives, and yeah, it's great. I'm killing it. And for some, there's a sensitivity and more of a sense of unworthiness, more of a sense of lack, and what that is that more of a keen sense of separation. That's what's being said. That's what's being suggested. And the suggestion is there is no you ever. You are already unconditional love. You are everything. Everything is nothing. Nothing is everything. And it's you. There's just whatever's appearing to happen.
even the lack is
unconditional love. So a sense of pain that would arise is everything as a sense of pain. Yeah. The sense of unworthiness is everything as a sense of unworthiness. And when it's seen to just be energy as that, and the sense of it being you that's unworthy, you that has a lack, it's possible that sense of you can just unravel or not, or fall away or not be there, apparently, because already there's no either. I can't see an individual holding a microphone with sitting in a chair. I can't, and the reason I can't see it is very simple. There is no individual. There is unconditional love as that body holding a microphone, wondering about its sense of lack. It's so simple. It's too simple. It's just whatever's appearing to happen. And it's all energetic. So you're never going to understand it. So, but of course, when you feel like an individual, you feel you can understand it, and you feel there's a continual effort to try and get it, to try and understand it. That's not wrong or right. It's just what's appearing to happen. But it can be seen that it's not understandable. It's not gettable. It's not knowable. Because how could it be? It's so immediately just. And is a sense of lack. So what? A sense of, let's call it sadness, right? Let's just make it a little bit more concrete. Let's just call it sadness. So the sadness for the individual is a problem because it's my sadness. I need to push it away, understand it, do something with it. It's overwhelming me. And you would hear from all these people how to manage your sadness, understand your sadness, and pull in happiness, right? Nothing wrong with any of that. And the effort to do that is also just energy, it's fine. Then there's another suggestion that is a rarer suggestion, that There is no you that is sad. There is just sadness. There's just what's appearing to happen.
But here is more a bundle of energy, of sadness,
Yeah.
or yeah, yeah. I have another question. Also, the whole life I like it to be alone,
Yeah.
and on the other side there is loneliness.
Yeah.
Feeling so. It's both are.
It's a paradox too. Yeah.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it to be alone.
Yeah. People
But
are
on the
over.
other
People
side-
are overrated. Yeah. So what it is really is the aloneness. Really, is that sense of separation. So it's a sense of a you that because then there feels like there's aliveness and there's you that's alive. So you're alone in aliveness. Yeah. So when the sense of loneliness is gone with the sense of you. So there's no longer a sense of you. There's an in loveness with what's appearing to happen, the sound of a car and a motorbike, and a sense of warmth from the sun and speaking, and if there's sadness, a sense of sadness, and in loveness with what's appearing to happen, because there's nobody who's separate who feels alone then, because you are aliveness. So the sense of being lonely comes directly from a sense that you are alive. It's you that has life. So you're alone in that sense of aliveness. Like there's nobody, another way of describing that is there's nobody that's not completely, totally and utterly alone. Nobody. And you hear two people talk about this as they get older. I've heard loads of people say this. There's one famous actor that said it last year. I can't remember who it was. One of these Hollywood actors. And he just said, as I got older, I realized everyone is completely alone. Totally alone. He said some people don't realize it yet. And what he's talking about is, of course we're all completely alone because there's oneness. There's only oneness. So you're totally alone. There is no other. Do you see what I'm saying? There's an other when you feel like you, and then there's another, and then there's this sense of loneliness then, and even that's why people in big cities they're surrounded by people and they never feel more alone, and it's about the senses, their separation. Isn't it gorgeous that you just didn't ask a question? There's no you who said anything there, but speaking happened, like a comment or a question appeared, but it's just what's appearing to happen. It has no value, it has no significance, any more than if you didn't ask a question. And actually all there is just energy, aliveness. It doesn't matter about the question or the answer, actually. It's just a resonance, it's just very simple. Can I get a reason for your laughter, please? A joke. Can you explain yourself?
So I used to fantasize about this word in loveness, oneness, whatever you may suggest. And then when there was no sense of me at one point, there was, I couldn't say it was in loveness or amazing or wow, or so simple and direct, and seeing that it was only that, and it has always been there. So what? I mean, just so what? It was so simple, singular, but is. No other definition I could come up, or no other feeling or word. So I wonder why some speakers still, I wonder why they speak about in loveness or unconditional love. Even that is, I don't, well, I can't figure out why it's the word that, because maybe it was just for it's so simple that it was nothing to write home about, you know, it's just singular, but just as you describe, I mean, as you can describe as so far as you can. But okay, I can understand that unconditional is that has no opposition, is what is, but it's just, it sounds such a, you know, unconditional love, and I don't relate at all to that. It's not that I have to relate to there's a relation, just it's just so simple.
I just, there's no term that satisfies, there's no term that's a better term really. So
Okay.
I just use the words unconditional love, knowing that the people interpret unconditional love as interpersonal love, but I mean, I can't find any better terms than that. So for me, also, the words are just pointing to something that's not describable or knowable. So the words don't really matter actually at all. And it's not
Aliveness,
describable.
everything was, wow.
Yeah.
Just, well, maybe in
Yeah, I
relation
don't
to
know.
what was seen through, but maybe yes, what it
Yeah.
was just nothing
We're kind of talking
extraordinary,
about, like, and
more than
also the
ordinary.
sense of describing and in loveness with what's going to happen. I can't find any other words that maybe describe that any better, to try and describe that, the contrast between feeling like I have a life and I don't like this and I like this. So I'm constantly kind of tweaking. Oh yeah, I don't really like that. I'm going to work on this. I'm constantly working on what's appearing to happen to make it a better version for me of what's appearing to happen. So I'm sad now, and sadness is a problem. Pain is a problem. Confusion is a problem. So I work on the sadness. I work on the pain. I work on the confusion. I'm constantly kind of tweaking what's appearing to happen to make it better. And so when I say it in loveness of what's appearing to happen for nobody, I just mean that it's very simple, it's very ordinary. There's just what's appearing. There's nobody who's in love with what's appearing to happen, but it's just a kind of sense that it's just all aliveness or wholeness, even when it's something that's incredibly painful, uncomfortable, undesirable, ostensibly, objectively negative or bad. It's just aliveness. That's what I mean. So therefore, there's nowhere to go to then. There's nothing to make better. There's just isness or aliveness. That's all. I mean, I find all of the terms are unsatisfactory. All of them. All of the non-dual terms are unsatisfactory. Because how would they not be? How would they not be? How would you land on language that's just really, it's much better language. It's really, it's just, I think you could just find language that's less confusing. That's all. That's as good as it can be, is that if it's less confusing, a little bit less confusing, because it's not knowable, it's not describable. So if it's not knowable or describable, how could you suddenly light on this language that's suddenly, so it's irrelevant, doesn't. To just word like this, nothing about this afternoon has to do with language, really. None of these words are any way significant, and it's all energetic. So that your sense of feeling like a you, or the sense of feeling like a you, will kind of resonate, or there will be a resonance in whatever way there is. Mostly that's a rejecting kind of sense of kind of knowing what's being said and staying in the concept of what's being said. That's a very good way of staying safe, Or maybe it resonates in that sense of being separate, just isn't, and it's, well, the ordinary also isn't. The contrast is being made from how the individual feels. Oh, it's just ordinary. Well, what's going on? Your friend rings you up. No, nothing, just ordinary. Just nothing special. Oh, but last weekend, I forgot to tell you. And then the story starts. This happened, and we went to this, and we went to this special place. And do you understand? Do you know what I mean? That's all I can say. Is there's no special anymore, because everything is nothing, and nothing is everything. So special, not special, totally collapse. And this is ordinary, completely ordinary direct isness, which is also absolutely stunning, completely stunning, beyond the mind's idea of stunning. But then there's a contrast for the individual, because it's like, well, which is it? Is it stunning, or is it just ordinary? Because they're in a dualistic reality where it has to be one or the other.
But if as we were talking earlier, there was no sense of individuality, like an animal could speak like us, it wouldn't be extraordinary. It's just so simple, daily, whatever. It's life as it is.
Yeah.
But in comparison to, maybe the seeking energy, it's just the simplicity could be said to be extraordinary, but you couldn't say that if hadn't you had this previous yearning and tension and contraction before to compare with.
Yeah, well, I see, all I can say about it really is that the individual, the apparent individual, is in a dualistic dream of ordinary and extraordinary, and rejecting unconditional love in favor of their version of unconditional love. So continually on these peaks and troughs of trying to get extraordinary experiences, and then, you know, oh, this is just ordinary, and essentially just not seeing aliveness as it actually is. That's all that can be kind of illuminated about it.
Yeah, the singularity of what is, just
Yeah,
what is.
yeah, yeah. Like it's kind of also come back to what we started with, the newness too. So
Yeah.
the individual, for okay, yeah, it's maybe it's ordinary, but what's really, it's just this sense when you feel like an individual, it's an energetic sense of you having a life, and you're in a dualistic dream of causality in time and space, and everything's not new. You could think it's new every now and again, oh, that's new, and you could obviously search for new experiences. I could fly to a country I've never been to, eat food I've never, and that's what I think is new then. And then I come back, I have those memories, and then it seems to have kind of broadened me out a bit, and you know, all of that. But the newness can't be seen because you're in a linear dream. So it's
To see it, you have
it's
to be out of
secondhand,
it.
and it's stale, and it's somehow repeating itself, and that's you know, and it's the really this whole weekend is about unknowing, the full-on aliveness of unknowing, not knowing anything because everything is unknowable. So everything is new then. Everything is new and fully alive when there's no sense of you who is alive, and it's unknowable. So that contrasts incredibly with the sense of a you that is living their life, and then everything is somehow kind of moving in time, and there's a sense of repetition and staleness, and then it's, you know, the childlike wonder of aliveness isn't really there because it's dampened over by this so-called you that is alive. You know. And also the other thing about this is, if there's a sense of like, oh, when I wasn't there, you know, last year I fell away and I saw this, and then that actually is a story. That becomes a story, and what's referred to as what I seen when I fell away is also a story. It becomes a narrative for the individual that, oh, I saw what Kenneth was talking about 2 years ago, and yeah, it's very ordinary, but it can only be a concept, really. And so therefore you keep referring to this concept about what you saw, referring to some sort of insights, whatever, but that's
impossible.
it's not possible. It's actually, you're just, what you're doing really is just going around another narrative then. It's just another story then. Because this is about absolute full-on aliveness for nobody that is completely and utterly unobtainable and unknowable.
I can see that now, which I just can't help.
Yeah. But that's what the individual will do. Just as the individual will start talking about glimpses and continually kind of refer back to this glimpse or awakening that happened 2 years ago or 10 years ago or 20 years ago or 2 weeks ago, and kind of have an experience of that, and then contrast what's going to happen with, oh yeah, but in the glimpse I just felt such unconditional love, blah blah blah, and it becomes this kind of trap, this kind of loop then, that because actually there's nothing in the glimpse that can be held onto, and it will never be like that again. It will never be like that again. It's just the way it appeared to be.
Yeah, it seems like another strategy to keep itself alive and seemingly
because
knowing that what was and what
it's
is
another
and what could
strategy.
be.
It's like last year I saw
Knowing.
this and it was the ordinary. Yeah, it was ordinary, but it's just a concept then. That's all it is then.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it keeps the sense of separation alive because it feels it feels it was important
Yeah,
in a
totally,
way.
yeah.
Yeah, it puts it in a scale,
Yeah,
even
this
though.
is about total and utter loss. Complete, total and utter loss. There's nothing to know. There's nothing to hold on to. There's just there's no paradigm or ideology or belief system to kind of hide behind. I don't know anything. I don't know anything. It's the freedom of not knowing is indescribable. And the individual, when you say that, then the apparent individual wants to know that. I want to know what you're talking about. I want to know the unknowing that you're talking about.
I want to know my absence.
Yeah, I want to know my absence. Yeah, yeah. Of course, that's it. Yeah. Like as some people have put it, I want to win the lottery of enlightenment, where the sense of separation falls away. But I want to be there to collect the winnings. I want to be there to have the ticket, like, because I want to see what it's like to have all those things. Yeah. And you see, it's just unimaginable, like, because what you're doing is like we were talking earlier about different things, more about money and energy of money and different things. But some people are describing that kind of thing as they're seeing money's just energy, and what they're saying is there's a system that we appear to be in. It's a story. But what we're trying to do is make a new system, describe a new system. But everything within the system creates more system of the same system that we then describe as another system. Do you know what I mean? And they use nice analogies like there's no future really, because what you're doing is you're describing the more present and describing it as the future. But what you're doing is getting what seems now and taking it and putting it into, kind of changing it a bit and then calling that the future. So in a similar, it's not exactly what's been said here, but it's similar in one sense. It's like you almost have this system of the individual who is like a closed loop of knowing, and in that closed loop of knowing is trying to imagine not being the system of the individual, and is also desperate for someone to speak to them, to tell them that there's someone there that can do something to not be in the system of the individual, right? So that's all you have then. So that's why nobody can understand, nobody can imagine their own absence. You can't imagine what you're looking for, because anything you imagine is just within the loop of you. So you're just coming up with more you, really, but it's a different slant on you, or da-da-da-da-da. And that's all it is. It's completely, totally and utterly impossible to imagine or conceptualize what I'm talking about. The beauty about it is it's not knowable. So it doesn't need to be conceptualized, because it's just whatever's appearing to happen. And therefore, ergo, it's inescapable. It's just inescapable. You know? And along with that analogy, which was what I found interesting about that person was saying, is this is the other system. The other system's already, you don't have to imagine the other system, because the other system's already just what's appearing to happen. But it's kind of like, it's not exactly what I'm saying, but it kind of reflects a little bit. That's what's being said here, is that you're trying to imagine what I'm talking about. And what I'm talking about is not imaginable, right? But it's also inescapable, because it's simply whatever's appearing to happen already. So it's the sense of, the sun is coming in, there's a temperature in the body, the sense of, there's a sensation of sitting on the chair, nearly knocked the microphone. People are nodding, and it's very simple. There's just aliveness, whatever's appearing to happen. But then the whole thing is that we, as an individual, reject unconditional love, what is appearing, in favor of our version of unconditional love. So that's how we're just going continually appearing to just go round and round. The sense of me.
Nobody arrives to the Holy Land. Nobody arrives to Holy Land.
Yeah.
As a matter of fact, in the Old Testament, Moses doesn't arrive to. He never makes it, and
Ah.
they think that it's why didn't he? And there's many versions of the every rabbis, and actually, well, nobody arrives there. It's simply that. But they will never, of course, envisage this possibility.
Oh, that's really, I never actually really thought about that before.
When
Yeah,
I was
that's
told
really
that, I said,
interesting,
of
yeah.
course he will, but nobody gets there.
Yeah.
But
of course he didn't arrive because he never left it. Yeah,
no,
'cause
but
it's just
there
what's
is no
appearing to
one that
happen.
is
And
its
there's no,
absence.
yeah,
There's,
exactly.
that's it.
Yeah,
It's
for
revealed
sure.
that
Like, I
there's
mean, there's
no
an
one
all,
anyway.
like all of the scriptures have allegories and metaphors and things that illuminate the indescribable, for sure. Catholicism, Christianity, um, Buddhism, Hinduism, all of these things. It's been said, it's been stated, explicitly stated. There is no you. There is no you. My friend Jesus said a lot of good stuff.
Your brother.
Well, me and him, me and JC. Yeah. But turn over a rock, I'm under it. And it's no wonder that the Gnostic Gospels were kind of excluded from the canon of Gospels. Because, if you were going to build a church, you'd kind of go through the stuff and go, you know what, we'll have a bit of this, we'll have a bit of, not so much of this, no, take that, just put that to the side. Yeah, hide it in a big vase in Egypt in the ground. Until some farmer cracks it open and burns it for firewood. Or whatever it is, but there you go. It's it all illuminates that there was no Jesus. This is the kingdom of heaven. You're looking for the kingdom of heaven, and you're in there is only the kingdom of heaven, but you're thinking it's something else. Or he said, everything, I will make everything new. So the conversation we just had about newness, this is what's been sung of, and he tore down the temples. He tore down the temples because he's clearly telling you there's no fucking authority. You keep praying to these false gods. There's no God there, and whatever. But there is no Jesus, really. There was no Jesus, just as there's no Kenneth. There's just aliveness. And these words are said, and then you have layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of nonsense and dogma and prescription over. No matter what it is, all the religions are the same. Buddhism is just the same. The Eightfold Path, blah, blah, yada, yada, Yeah. And, then you just, reincarnation, and we are our heaven. And we had purgatory, but they closed it to close it up. I think purgatory was the running costs were just getting too expensive. Because of inflation, the running costs were going through the roof. So they had a meeting and said, fuck this, what are we doing with this big waiting room? It's just getting bigger and bigger. And people seem to be here forever. They're just not moving on, guys, come on. And then, a new CEO came in and said, just close this shit down. You're either going up or you're going down now, people. All that stuff we said about the waiting room, forget about it. We've moved it to Florida, much more cost effective. And we don't run it anymore. We've outsourced it to a private company. But it literally is just Peter Pan stories, it's not right or wrong or anything, and it's not bad. And it's not bad. It doesn't mean anything if someone has a belief in Jesus and God. So what? And they say, you know what? I don't know if it's true or not, but it's true for me. And I find in my life that if I pray to Jesus, I find it fucking great. What's the problem? There's no problem. It just is what it is. Because someone else has another ideology a newer ideology that they're looking down on that ideology, and their ideology is just fucking same. It's just a different thing. Maybe it's about gender, it's about race, or it's about, we have all this stuff going on at the moment, the identity politics, and that's just all the same stuff anyway. I'm not a teacher or a guru, but if I had someone fanning me here right now, I think I'd play the role of guru just for about an hour. Quickly! Did you not hear the man? No, I'm only joking. I'm only joking, Ollie. But maybe the door open would help. Maybe would it?
It will help.
Yeah, it's because I'm in the
You're in the hot seat.
You're in the
you
light.
guys are in the shade there. I'm in the.
You are the tree.
Yeah.
Giving a sheep.
It's also the transmission.
Illumination.
because I'm sucking in unconditional love and radiating it out to unworthy people. The whole engine starts to heat up a bit. Especially you in the front row. You're sucking. You're kind of yeah.
We suffer for our sins.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, thanks.
Go the fan.
Yeah, yeah, I think I'm okay. I would just look like such a tosser with a fan here. I just don't think I can do it. I already look like a tosser, but I get your point. I already look like a tosser. That's a real Irish thing, tosser.
Yeah.
Well, English as well. Like, oh, he's such a tosser.
Yeah, I would like to ask a question. It seems that what's causing us the problem is the sense of me or separate you. So I got it that maybe we feel that children are born without this sense of
Yeah.
me and you, and that it is educated to them. Somehow they are taught
Yeah.
to sense it, or false. They are taught this false sense of them. So it means that if we change this kind of approach to kids from the very early stages, somehow that they will have different experience and they will not fall in this trap as we all do.
Yeah.
Because, actually I heard about an experiment
Yeah.
and they were having some kids somewhere outside of this human, way of doing things normally. But I heard it and I don't remember the details, but the results were terrible. Kind of those kids who were not raised as we normally do,
Yeah.
were behaving worse than animals,
Yeah.
kind of. So I don't know what.
So what I would say is, right, if you go, remember when I said that it's apparent, feeling separate it's a apparent sense of knowing, yeah? So that's an aspect of feeling separate, but really feeling separate is energetic. It's an energetic sense in the body. So when the child is born, energetically a sense comes in that they're in the body looking out then, and it's a cellular energy, right? So this sense of separation then is fostered through the information system that confirms that you're separate and says that you're separate. But it's not a result of the education system saying you're separate. That's what I would say. So I hear this a lot from people saying, and they sometimes try to apply it to me and my children and stuff, and then I don't, this is totally impersonal, so I don't like talking about anything personal. So, but if the question they're saying is really, so with your children, they're likely to not grow up separate because you're a non-duality speaker and you'll be telling them that they're not separate. And my answer has always been the same: total bullshit. It's total nonsense you're talking now, right? Because the sense of separation has nothing to do with me teaching or not teaching or whatever. It's an energetic sense that comes in the body. It just appears to be there. And then in our knowing, we confirm through the mechanism of knowing and education that this is the way it is, these are your emotions, blah, 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 blah. But it's, if you were to take a child and say, well, say you are not a separate individual. For me, what that would be is another ideology, another belief system in which you were then trying to avert a sense of separation arising in a child, as if that's possible. So aliveness or unconditional love appears as a sense of separateness that is not touchable by anything in any way. So that's why when this is being shared here, I cannot see a sense of I cannot see an individual in this room. It's impossible, because there are no individuals in this room. But I can see when people speak that I can physically see sometimes they feel, I can see a sense of contraction, and when they speak, they have questions. I can see from that they feel that they're separate. But there's absolutely no sense that I can say or do anything in any way to touch that sense of separation or have an effect on that in any way, shape, or form. It's impossible, because if I did also, I would then really be seen a separate self that I can change. So you see, so it's still in the dualistic dream if that's the case. So that same thing that I described there also applies to children, because aliveness just appears as a child, appears to feel separate or not, and your ideas of that happening, making that not happen, blah blah blah, are simply ideas. It doesn't matter. It's not. It will either appear or it won't. And also, if it does appear, and it generally does tend to appear, it's unconditional love appearing as a separate individual. It's not wrong. It's not something that needs to be averted or stopped. And all of your efforts to do so will just end up in more story and drama and mess. Exactly, yeah. More ideology, more belief systems, more duality. That, oh, I raise my children as non-dualists. That's all I can think of is when someone starts talking to me like that, it's as if then what I hear is like, I raise my children as non-dualists. You might as well be saying to me, you raise your children as Buddhists or Catholics or whatever. You didn't raise your children. They're not your children. Fathering or mothering is happening. Protection is happening. Nurturing is happening. You're adding yourself to it. And it seems to be the human condition that people abstract a sense of separation. And it just appears to happen. And it's as simple as that. It doesn't need to be avoided or understood or stopped. And it can't be, because there's nobody to avoid it or stop it. So like the way that this works then is that in the story, the education part of it is information. Because you're living and knowing, there's a filtering of information all the time, and so therefore your sense of being separate is continually confirmed on a daily basis in the story. So when you turn on the TV, your sense of you go on the internet, you go on social media, you're continually bombarded with communication that would say, live your best life. This is what you can do to overcome your trauma. This is what you can how you can overcome your dopamine addiction. This is what you can do to straighten out your health, blah, blah, blah. And it's all speaking to an apparent separate individual who has a life. So therefore, the confusion is just constantly fed. Or even the sense that TV, oh, this is what's happening in Asia. Be afraid, blah, 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 because what seem as the bigger narratives are all part of the same narrative of separation. So, when it's shared like this, then there's a different energy. And that's what contrasts this to a different communication that speaks to you, because you're not being spoken to there. And the confusion that you're continually eating all the time that feeds you is cut through. And there's an illumination here. There's another possibility in this room, is this apparent room, that can resonate. And it's all, you know it already. The reason you know it is you are it already. And that's why it's not about believing it or understanding it or whatever. You could be completely confused. But energetically then, there's a boundlessness to what we're talking about. Because this isn't a room in Belgium and you sitting in a room in Belgium. This is everything. This is boundless, eternal everything, appearing as a room in Belgium. So it's the same, it's the exact same, but it's completely different. Because everything is new. This is everything instead of being just in that dualistic, separate reality.
So now it makes sense for me when in the Christian religion they say you are born with the sin. So actually this is this energetic.
Original sin, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. The original sin of knowing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay.
Which is another bunch of bullshit. Yeah. You're looking.
But at
you're looking at a small baby, right? And you're trying to fucking tell me that baby's a sinner because they have the original sin.
No, because
No, I'm
they
not saying
feel
you,
separation.
Yeah. But
Because of this.
Yeah, but this is what it turns into, though. It speaks to somebody who's a sinner, as if what it does then, all of the religions then they feed on a sense of unworthiness that's there, and because you do genuinely feel unworthy, and you feel that there's little you and the world out there, then there is a higher authority that will mind me, and whatever form that's in, the government, God, the universe, whatever, that will be, and it's all a story and a narrative. It's just a story that's to maintain the lie of you being a separate individual, whatever it is. Yeah, but like I mean, there are lovely analogies, or there are lovely things we can hit on, like Adam and Eve and eating from the apple, and is the tree of knowledge. The tree of separate knowledge was the sense of separation. So some of these are very ancient tales, really, that have been at the core. Some of them have a wisdom to them and are very reflective of what I'm saying is being said here. But then they get morphed and shaped and overlaid and interpreted and packaged into a book, and then it's all agenda led then.
Yeah, and one question from the current situation. As I have a child which feels very separated.
Yeah.
And is obviously very sad about it. And as me as a parent, I cannot do anything about it.
Yeah.
I just watch it. I would like to express my way of handling this separation, but they are not listening. So
A child who doesn't listen.
No.
It's very unusual.
Yeah. So parenting is happening. Results are not happening. So what? So I should be in peace with that. Like.
No, you shouldn't be in peace with that. There's no you to be in peace with that. So this is the possibility that the parenting happens, and that's it. It's simple as that. That sonning happens, mothering happens, and that's aliveness, and they're whatever is appearing to happen is appearing to happen. And then it can be that sense that they're your child is no longer there, and just parenting and mothering happens, and everything then is just free to be as it is. That's all. It's not a solution to anything, because if it's a solution to something, then something's wrong. The results aren't what you want, and then the results are then it's the difference. Then is seeing that there is actually a separate child who still thinks they're separate, who needs to not feel separate, and then that would be the result. And so that's a dualistic dream. There's just love, unconditional love. Unconditional love mothers and nurtures and worries. Worry like a mother. There's no worry like a mother's worry. And that's aliveness as a caring for this human being. They're already not separate though. There's already, if worry with a child, if worry appears to happen, worry's appearing. And you could say that's all. There's no possible way to teach this. There's nothing to teach.
I hope that if I am unusual enough energetically, somehow in my family, they will get it.
Yeah.
Well, it's
lovely. It's just a nice idea
yeah,
that
yeah.
what you just said there is an
Energetically, no
idea.
transmission
Well, you
is
don't
happening.
have a family.
No, there is family.
Yeah.
In a house in Brasiling is family. I hope that.
I'm an English teacher, this is really wrong.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not happy with the present continuous.
But the baby is already wholeness, right? Baby's wholeness.
I mean, it's very simple. Like all there is aliveness. Yeah. It's that simple. So aliveness, microphones and questions and answers and sits and worries like a mother and everything. And in that aliveness, then there's a sense of separation that appears, that in which the life flies to, in which there's a scene of a baby as a human being who has a life, right? Who has a life. Granted, they're 100% dependent on the adults to nurture them and care for them, but as they grow older, they get more independent, and then they're nurtured into living their life and directed into how they can live their life, right? And that's just the accepted reality. That just goes completely, totally unquestioned, really. I have a life. I was told I had a life since my very first memory. My parents, my family, my teachers, everyone says I have a life. I'm living my life. I'm making my decisions. Another possibility is there is no you there. There never has been a you there. There's no you to make a decision there. But making decisions is something that appears to happen. So everything, instead of being solid and real from the perspective of you living your life, is actually a play of light or an appearance. So nothing changes at all because it's always been a play of light. And that's when this scene is a scene of, okay, wow, like there's the garden outside, the same as I've always seen the garden, but there's no sense of me in the garden anymore, and suddenly everything is new. So that's what this scene is all about. It's a scene that everything is new suddenly, and it's not some different big explosive thing. And it's the same as it always was, but suddenly it's seen as it actually is, which is unknowable aliveness. So then instead of seeing a baby who has a life, who is going to live their lives, it's life as that body, our life peoples, as Alan Watts put it, or whatever. Very simple. It's too simple. What we're talking about is too simple, direct, and ordinary. That's the problem. And then you could put all these ideas onto it, and then it gets like what you're saying there. It's totally, that's what the individual does. It gets more and more complicated, and and layers of it, and it's actually just incredibly simple. There's just what's being taught.
But I think we can't escape that dynamic too, because I don't have children, but I only have a dog and a cat, but even I watched my behavior with the dog, because initially
Do they fight?
well, actually the cats knew we're kind of keeping them separate, but there's, swiping happening and stuff. But just in terms of sort of like raising the dog, or, we got it as a puppy, and I hadn't been with an animal in a long time, and that whole sense of like, I didn't want to be angry at the dog or anything like that, but you just can't escape that dynamic, and I feel like it changed me for the better. And in a way I learned, I feel like, about unconditional love, because I realized I love this dog, but as the dog's dad or whatever, like I want the best for the dog. I'm not trying to control it,
Yeah.
I'm trying to help it. I'm trying to keep it from eating something bad, or I want to control its behavior. I feel it's from love, but it's also from fear too, because I don't want it to get hurt or whatnot.
Yeah.
And I can't even imagine what that would be like as a child. You want the best for your child. You want to
Yeah.
raise them so they're
Yeah.
happy, you know.
Mothering happens.
Yeah, it
Fathering
happens.
That's
Yeah,
what
you want to influence that, but
Well, no, it's just
what can you do though?
What I'm saying is,
Yeah.
fathering happens, mothering happens, right? It's aliveness as that.
Yeah.
There's nothing more fierce and protective than a mother bear, right?
Yeah.
Nothing in this fucking world is as fierce as that. Nothing. I'm telling you, it's the most powerful force there is, and that's the way it is. And fathering, but even more so mothering, because they've carried the child. There's nothing as fierce as that. There isn't. That does not require an individual. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Mothering happens. Well, what then happens is, or say here, fathering, if I felt like an individual, then I then add myself to the whole thing.
Yeah.
So then I think they're my children. How am I parenting? I'm this way, I'm that way, I'm judging, and actually what I've done is I've objectivized the child.
Yeah.
The child is then an object to me, the father. No matter how well I'm doing it, it could be a great parent, and it's still an object. Whereas actually when the sense of separation isn't there, there's just what appears to happen. So the solid thing that we think of as a relationship, like a relationship with my son or my daughter or my partner, isn't there anymore because it's just energy, because they're not a thing either.
Yeah.
So fathering, husbanding, wifing, girlfriending, boyfriend is just aliveness as that. That's all it is. And that's actually how things actually are. So you actually see, people are seen as they actually are then, instead of them being an object.
Yeah.
So it's very simple, and that's the way it is.
But for the people that feel like people, it's hard because I know you're not talking about being detached, but I feel like she's trying to think of how can I be detached and allow that child the freedom to be itself, but you also don't want to see the child fail or to have the problems
all
it
that
has.
can happen, all that can
don't have
happen,
to suffer,
all that can happen, all that here is possible is
Yeah.
the song of unconditional love, which suggests that there's nobody there. That's all that can be.
Yeah.
So if there's being drawn into that sort of story, this isn't an uncompromising message then. And this is then going to start dishing out parenting advice.
Yeah.
So first of all then, who am I talking to then?
Linda. No, I'm joking.
Linda's not here yet. She's still napping. Oh, Linda's back from her nap, yeah. Good. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, see, this is the thing. Yeah, like I kind of see what's going on there. You feel, you almost feel like when someone is struggling and you feel like they're an individual, there's a tug to kind of feel, but like, could you not empathize and help that person there? And the difference is, I don't see a person there because there is no person there. And that is actually unconditional love. That's the unconditional love. The thing that we think of as unconditional love is the person who's trying to help the person, empathize and offer advice to them about how they can deal with their son, their father, their mother, and what you're into then is a dualistic dream. That's just pure dualism, in which usually you feel you're in the role of the helper actually. And if you're in the role of the helper, then that's all about you.
Yeah, I get that.
That's all it is.
So I have a question. If there are no people and I am not a person, but I see a suffering
Yeah.
in this unconditional field of love, I just observe it.
Who would observe it though?
My field.
I love it. I love it. So it's clever. What instead of saying me, I change it in my field of non-dual awareness. I love it. Yeah. It's nice. So it's very simple, right? It's very simple. There's just what's appearing to happen.
Okay.
Yeah. There's no you that it's happening. So when I say there's no people, I don't like it. It's probably clearer to say there's no individual. You know, there's no separate, because people, yeah, I mean, there are human bodies, yeah. So bodies, and it's we can describe that. We can describe how the body functions. We can describe how we interact socially and all of that, right? So it's not a denial of any of that. It's saying that life, human beings, the difference is there's a sense then of being an individual in that there's somebody in there that has life. That's all. So life peoples or whatever. And then from that, that's a dualistic dream when you feel that you have a life. And from that, then there's somebody who suffers. And then, because they're a separate individual who suffers, you are an individual who can help them or not help them or whatever. So there's an idea then of what can I do, which is totally, it's not wrong or right, but that's in the dream. And unconditional love is to see there's actually nobody there, there's no separate anything, but suffering can appear to happen.
Okay, so I just let suffering happen, and I feel it's a
So who would let suffering happen then? Who would, that's what I'm saying, like, who would then, if you're letting suffering happen, so there's a sense of an individual who's letting, so there's a sense, well, I see this, and I'm kind of reframing it in my mind, oh, it's a character, it's not an individual, this character's suffering, so I'm going to just, because there's just unconditional love, I'm going to let suffering happen.
No, I don't see a person, I just see a suffering.
Yeah, but it's a concept though. So what I'm saying is there's just what's appearing to happen, right? Mm-hmm. So if your child falls over and cuts their leg, what will appear to happen, almost undoubtedly, as a mother, is mothering. Mothering is the child will be up on your lap, there'll be a disinfectant of the thing, there'll be plasters, there'll be hugs, there'll be kisses, there'll be, oh, you create. There's nobody doing that. It's amazing. There's nobody doing that. There's just what's appearing to happen. That's all. Then we add ourselves to it, and we overlay a story onto it, which my son, my daughter fell. They cut their leg. I comforted them. I put on the plaster. Blah blah blah. And that's the story that's overlaid over what's appearing. The same as if you're walking down the road, you meet an old lady who's struggling, or an old man, and the traffic, and you come along and you say, I will help you. You know, you grab them by the arm, you stop the cars, you get them across the road, and they say, well, thank you so much. And you say, oh, I'm fucking great. I've done my good deed for the day. Yeah. Ooh, wow. Then you get on Instagram and you say, hang on a second, old lady, come back here. I know you're having trouble walking, right? Just put down that shopping bag a second, because I need you to put, look, smile at the camera now, look. Yeah. And could you just tell people how I helped you across the road? Just snappy, come on, yeah, this is the lady that helped you across the road, didn't I? Yeah, no, listen, just what's going to happen. You know what I mean? I'm just having fun now, but like, we add ourselves to everything. There's just what's appearing to happen. There's nobody doing or not doing anything.
Empathy can happen, reaction.
Empathy's in the story, 100% in the story of the individual. Yeah, but it's the empathy, the idea of empathy is in the dream, that there's other people, they have feelings, I'm tapping into my feelings. It's different to sympathy. I don't feel sympathy for them, I feel empathy for them as a fellow human. I can tap into my feelings that of being hurt like them. When I access my feelings, I can better understand their feelings. It's a game. Empathy is a game, and it's held up as it's valued as a system of interaction that smooths out interactions and enables the whole game to go more freely. And you pride yourself on being able to empathize, as opposed to somebody who's so much in their world that they can't even empathize with someone else. It's all a story. It doesn't matter. It's absolutely inconsequential. It gets more prominence in a world of psychobabble and psychotherapy and all of this sense that and it's all of that is based on the idea that there's a separate self. Because that's what I hear now with some non-dual speakers. They're starting to introduce this. Oh, it's clear and uncompromising, but empathy, blah blah. Forget about it. It's not a clear sharing. Then it's just a story. Unconditional love is seeing nobody. So unconditional love, instead of seeing somebody who's, I empathize with you, you've broken up with your husband or your wife, I empathize that it's very hard for you or the children, or your partner has died. I've also lost people in my life. I empathize, it's very hard for you. It's a story. Unconditional love is seeing somebody as aliveness, where an aliveness where they say there's a lot of pain happening right now, and say, okay, that's what's happening. Pain is aliveness appearing to happen. So the unconditional love actually appears as very cold, unempathetic, and horrible to the individual in their dualistic dream. Because this is not, the individual does not want what I'm talking about here at all. Nobody wants, the individual can't even hear what I'm saying. If there's a sense of being an individual here, they cannot hear anything I'm saying. It's horrendous what I'm saying. It's horrendous, it's terrible, and they want to, it's so uncomfortable because they want what's been said, they want to take what's been said and apply it into their life and make it, But it's the destroyer of the illusion that there's a you that has a life. Simple. That's unconditional love.
If you see somebody suffering, as there are no others, would it be right to say that I'm feeling the suffering, so it's my suffering that I'm seemingly projecting onto somebody else? Or
No, I think that's getting
No.
a bit complex with it. Like,
Okay.
I would just say that there's someone, say sadness or pain appears to arise, and the reaction is the reaction. And actually, there's a movement, there's a natural movement when someone is around you that's in pain to help. But that's nothing to do with you, actually, at all. It's nothing to do with the individual. So the example I gave, if you didn't feel like an individual and someone's there and they stumble and fall, you would go and help them up off the ground. And are you okay? Is everything okay? Just take a moment, sit down, gather yourself. But there's nobody doing that. And what would happen is the sense that you are doing that wouldn't be there anymore. Whereas if you felt like an individual, you'd have an actual lived sense that, oh, you won't believe what happened today. Someone came and they fell right in front of me and they had a really nasty fall and they gashed their head. And I took time, I stopped my plans to go to my important meeting. I put it all on pause. I sat with them. We actually had to call an ambulance. There was a load of blood. But I calmed them down and there would be a lived sense that they have done something about it. Do you see, that's the difference.
Yeah.
That's the only way I can illuminate it is that way.
But I was just thinking more of Olivia's question regarding her son.
Oh yeah, okay.
Like,
oh yeah.
Is
It's more your interpretation. Yeah, it's more your idea of what's appearing to happen.
he doesn't look happy, so he must be suffering. But is
Yeah.
that's just
Yeah, that's your
made-up
idea.
story?
Now I have you. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's your idea. Yeah, that's your concept of what's appearing to happen. Yeah, because there's a him who's going through something, and then there's something needs to be done for that not to happen, and blah blah blah. And there's a solid individual there who it's happening to. So the other possibility is there's just sadness. So then, as a parent,
is it general sadness, not
There's-
my sadness?
yeah,
not
it's just
his
like
sadness?
you would no longer sense that this is your son or daughter who is sad. You would just see there's sadness, and then their response is the response. There's sadness. Oh, there's sadness, and there would be conversation about it, and there would be, but the fixer would be gone. The one who wants to fix everything because they can't see. There's no longer a sense of an object there who is sad. And actually the point, I see what you're saying now. Also, a lot of the time in that role, it's from the person who's in the role of the adult that's actually fueling the problem anyway, that's causing it more, making it more real by continually trying to fix everything. and by trying for the child not to be sad, and it creates this whole dynamic that makes everything more complex and more, and just the whole thing just goes around and around. Whereas just there's sadness.
It seems to me that as we bite the fruit of knowledge, it is not, we cannot help. Of course, there's no one to help. That the immediate consequence would be there's right and wrong, and we want only the right thing and fix the wrong thing or avoid the wrong thing, and it's inescapable too, in a way, in this sense of self being a self, you know. And of course, if my child suffers, what can I do? Okay, you know, we cannot help that, finding it in a way wrong and trying to help him. And it will, the world we envisage is good or bad, if it suits my view of good or bad. And it just boils down to right and wrong, and it's inescapably right and wrong.
And also, with that whole dynamic, would be a sense that it shouldn't have happened.
Of course.
Bad things shouldn't have happened to my son or my daughter or my husband or wife. It shouldn't have happened. And there's a struggle with, there's kind of a tension all the time in what's going to happen. If there's no sense of being fine, unpleasant things that appear to happen, it doesn't make it a pleasant thing. It doesn't make it a good thing, because that's still in the dream of.
Kenneth, we can't hear you.
So really, right and wrong and good and bad and likes and dislikes is just we are inescapably in this dualistic preference, and it just goes on how it goes on.
Yeah.
There's a wanting to fix, or wanting to stop suffering, or wanting to change the world. There's wanting to, because there's something wrong anyway. Somehow.
I see what's happening. I'm running out of juice here, guys. That's what's happening. This mic just cut. So that mic is working, but this one isn't. Sorry. Yeah. No. Yeah. Like the dualistic dream is a dream of right, wrong, good, bad, special, not special, inner, outer. You know, blah blah blah. And as we've been sharing for the last, yesterday and today, it all comes down to the root of it all is there's life and there's me with my life. That's what it feels like. So once you feel that sense of separation, there will be that dualistic play of this is a bad thing that's happening to my whoever, and it needs to be this way. And the difference then would be something unpleasant would appear to happen. The same mechanism of nurturing and protection, the exact same, would appear to be there. But instead of it being right or wrong in the it's just what's appearing to happen. That's all. So someone comes and tries to harm anyone that is in the circle of family here, there's be a ferocious protective response, but that doesn't require anybody. But if I felt separate, I would feel I'm the one protecting my family or whatever. Yeah, and I will set it right, and I'm the one. Blah blah blah. So, right, wrong, and that dualistic. That's what that essentially, fundamentally, non-duality. You are the dualistic dream. It's not that there's a you there that goes into some dualistic dream. The very sense that there's a you is a lived dualistic dream that you have a life. When you have a life, then you're in here, you're looking out there, and all of the things, we can go through them, like there's good, bad, special, blah, 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 blah. This play of opposites is out of that sense of separation. When that sense of separation is no longer there, it's seen it never really was there, and actually everything is just a play of light, appearing as right, wrong, special, not special, all of this stuff. So thanks for letting me know about the mic, guys. That was who jumped in there, Elizabeth, I think, and a few. And that's just I've run out of juice. So I'm going to charge up, and I think we're going to break, aren't we, now? So I think we're going to aim to have about a 45-minute break, and we'll have a shorter break then in the afternoon. And then we're finishing up at 3:30 our time. So is that okay? Can you hear this mic okay? Okay, great.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Yeah, we can hear it now.
Great. Thanks a million, guys.
Those new ones are good, though.
I know, yeah, Richard. I'm all over it, buddy.
So is it 45 minutes now?
This is good, Richard, but it could be better.
Ain't that the way?
It's 45 minutes from now. So. Yeah, whatever we want. 30 minutes, will we say 30 minutes?
Yeah, we'll do 30 minutes. I don't mind. 35 minutes, 35 minutes. We'll do 35 minutes. So it's 25. It's 12:30. So we'll kind of say 1:05 ish.
Okay. Thank
Okay.
you.
All right, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Bye
Kenneth.
bye. Thanks.